You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Bremen Motor Cars and by Wellington Anti-Aging. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
I hate to say it, but I think that I'm going to start going on YouTube to watch people play video games.
Has it come to that?
I think it's come to that. I never understood it. I was like, well, that's the most ridiculous concept ever. The number one YouTuber is this guy named PewDiePie.
Yep, know all about him.
PewDiePie. He plays video games and people watch him. And I'm like, that seems like the dumbest thing ever. Why would you sit there and watch a video of somebody else playing a video game? And then last night, it all kind of made sense to me. I was playing my 10-year-old in MLB The Show, and he is whooping my ass. I give him. I call it run rule because I mean he'll be up. He was up.
Oh my God.
He was up 11-1 in the fifth inning, and I'm like, I'm not going to drag this out because I mean it's going to be a 20-30 run game by the time we're done. I mean he was just pounding me. And I don't know how to hold the runners on first base. I know, okay, how to try to do the pitch out. But then by the time I do, he's standing on second if I'm throwing to first.
Oh, geez.
Same thing. And so he's just running the bases like just free on me.
It's terrible.
There's no way to stop the onslaught. And I'm like, there's a lot of like little cheats that I don't think that my little 10-year-old's telling me. And I think he's holding out on me and he's going to continually forever whoop my ass. And I'm like, I'm going to have to go on YouTube and find somebody.
You need a hobby, bro.
And I need to. This is my hobby. And
you need a new hobby, bro.
Man, when you got kids, it's what you got to do.
Yeah,
I got to connect, but I'm not going to sit here because this is how, like every single day during the summer now, he's home. And so this is kind of like the thing that we're doing. I'm like, I can't have the summer of me getting whooped every single day at this game.
Right.
So I'm going to have to go on YouTube and I'm going to have to find somebody that I can learn some cheats on and get this thing going. I just can't get crushed every day.
I don't think PewDiePie does baseball games.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't go for PewDiePie for baseball. I got to find whoever the PewDiePie of MLB The Show is. I got to find who that guy is.
I was going to say,
or girl,
I mean, did you
and watch? I don't care.
You didn't come across anybody? You find anybody?
No, today the search begins.
Okay.
because I think that's what they do, and that now it all of a sudden makes sense to me. Because if they're on there saying, "Hey, if you do this move and you hit this button when this kind of thing happens," then you get better. And if you're trying to play your friends and you don't want to lose all the time, then you got to watch these videos. So I'm like, it really kind of clicked. I'm like, what I thought was so stupid now makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you right now, you will find it very quickly. You will find that video you are looking for within the first search.
In the vast reaches of the internet.
There's so much on YouTube when it comes to video games.
So I kind of understand that concept now. The thing I still don't understand that is big on YouTube is videos of guys opening baseball card packs.
Yeah, how does this work?
It's a guy that sits there and he's like going, okay, I've got a Topps whole set here. And my son's just watching a guy opening up a pack of baseball cards and he's going through,
unboxing, yeah. Unboxing's a big thing, too.
Really?
Okay, explain that to me. I've got now the PewDiePie concept. Now explain to me why this is so big, watching a video of somebody opening up a pack of baseball cards. Why wouldn't you just go get a pack of baseball? I mean, they're not... When I was a kid, I could afford that with my paper route money.
Yeah, I mean, I think unboxing has more become like a big thing. It's a marketing tool for a lot of companies like iPhone. There's a lot of tech unboxing where people would watch somebody unbox a new technological piece of equipment and see what they feel about it because they trust it. Some of the unboxing people have like 7 million followers on friggin' YouTube. It's ridiculous. And they literally just open things.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. Okay.
And they buy things with the ad revenue that they get from just opening things.
Oh, I know it's a big business. I'm just
it's just ridiculous.
I'm trying to figure out why, and I'm like, why is he sitting there watching? And he's just fascinated with it. He'll just sit there and watch. He watches that, and he watches something else called Dodger Films, which is these guys. You can go find it on YouTube. Just look up Dodger Films. It's these guys that sit in the outfield bleachers at Dodger Stadium and try to catch foul balls, and they talk about how they catch foul balls, and they it's their techniques to catching foul balls. That's it, and they got like this little clique that sits out there in the bleacher seats.
That's kind of brilliant.
at Dodger Stadium, and it's called Dodger Films, and then that's just it. And he just watches that all day long.
You know what though? But it's like that's what the internet is consumed of. Media is really consumed of. It's finding a really mundane thing and turning it into a niche topic that everybody can relate to.
Yeah, it's really it's baffling, but it's kind of amazing.
I mean, some of the stuff that you mentioned, like unboxing. I never heard of that before. The video game thing I know about.
I don't do much outside. Like I basically live on YouTube.
Okay.
I don't really watch too much television. Most of my programming comes from YouTube. I watch a lot of movie reviews, music reviews. Everything's on YouTube.
My son, he's 10, he's a boy, watches YouTube, everything with the Dude Perfects and all that, and then he'll watch a little bit of Nickelodeon, and that's it.
Yeah,
really?
Dude Perfect.
That's it.
Magical Mystical Morning or whatever that one is.
Not sure what else he watches other than that, but
yeah, there's some really crazy stuff.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you want him watching the things that Ricky Bobby watches.
No, I don't watch that crazy stuff. But you can get YouTube is so insane. Like you can get like every hit from the Sopranos series.
Really?
In one video.
Yeah, they have a compilation?
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, there's a scene in John Wick where he goes into the nightclub, if you haven't seen it, and it's just, him versus all these, Russian mob guys or whatever they are. And it's a fantastic scene. Like, I don't necessarily want to go back and continually watch the movie over and over again.
But I want to see that scene.
And it's right there on YouTube.
Yeah, you go on, you can look up carnage counts, and it's just like all the kills in the movie.
It's good stuff. Yeah, you can find everything. It's fantastic.
There's a really great YouTube channel called Dead Meat if you're into horror films, and it counts all the kills in every horror film.
Okay,
it's hosted by this guy named James A. Janice, and I'm telling you, every Friday he puts out a new video. Every Friday I'm on YouTube watching it.
It's fascinating. What's clicking, what's working.
See, for me, it's a totally different age group for me because my son, he's my oldest. I have a daughter who's 1.5, but he's 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes on his little Kindle pad, whatever we have for him there.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds these videos of this kid, Ryan's Toy Review, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's big. Right? That's big.
I've
heard of the toy reviews. I don't know if I've heard of Ryan specifically, but yeah, it's like and there's a kid, it's like 7, that's making millions of dollars every year.
Yeah. I think that's him.
It might be, yeah.
I think that's the kid Ryan because it has like millions of followers, and my son sits there and watches this kid play with his toys.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is that's so appealing with these videos.
If our numbers on YouTube don't start going up, I'm going to get packets of baseball cards, and Diener's going to open them up during the show all day long. Just sit there, and we're just going to have a camera on you opening up.
Yeah.
14
and Ricky Bobby's going to play with toys.
Yeah.
14 million subscribers on Facebook.
Ryan's Toys?
14.5 million.
I told you.
Yeah.
Ryan's Toy Review.
He's serious.
Man. We're doing it wrong. Now, obviously doing it wrong.
Apparently.
Someone else doing it wrong. Love this interview with Archie Bradley. He's a relief pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks that talks about the time that he soiled himself right before he went into a game.
Nice.
How did that happen?
I was warming up to go in a game, and I knew I had the next hitter. I knew he was on deck. It's a 2-2 count, and I'm like, man, I have to pee. So I run in our bathroom real quick. I'm ready to go, and I'm trying to pee, and I pooped my pants. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I know I'm a pitch away from going in the game, so I'm scrambling to clean myself up. Oh. I get it cleaned up the best I can, button my pants up, and our bullpen coach, Mike Fetter, said, hey, you're in the game. They stepped out the bathroom. I was like, hey, am I okay? I just myself. Like, I'm about to go into this game, and they didn't believe me. They didn't believe me until they, unfortunately, saw the mess in the bathroom because I didn't have time. I was like, I got to go in the game. I just felt awkward and uncomfortable and just gross.
No, man.
Yeah.
Apparently it was okay. It was white pant night, but he asked his buddies. Now, I mean, would you be honest in the way they play pranks on each other in baseball? Would you trust it if they're like going, hey, is there anything? And they're like, no, you're good. Would you really trust that if you were a
absolutely not.
Absolutely, I wouldn't either. I would be like, Coach, I can't go in.
Yeah.
No.
You ever crap your pants at an inopportune time as an adult?
Yes.
I have not, and I think I'm the only one sitting in this room that has not.
Then you're
thankfully.
Yeah.
Ricky Bobby, what was yours?
Well, I was playing a show. Pepper and Slightly Stupid were playing in Meisner Park, and I was playing.
That's
this place,
big, yeah.
Yeah, and I was playing at this place right down the street. It's now called Black Rose.
Okay.
It used to be called Board Riders, and so we were playing there, and we're like young band. We're like the band's supposed to come over to the bar, so I'm sick as a dog, but I'm like, we have to keep playing because they're supposed to be coming over. And then, the bass player and stuff like that, they all come over, hanging out, playing. I get through one set, second set, first song of the second set. I'm sick. I try to push out a little fart, and I crap my pants.
Oh, full out. It's full out.
No way.
So what happened is that's the beginning. Now that's just when they walk in. So I can't go anywhere. We're supposed to be like these guys are supposed to find us and like we're gonna be like famous and everything like that. So I'm like, I've got another hour I have to play in these poop pants.
Wow.
So I play the whole hour.
Yeah.
And you think I'm sweating the whole night. It's not comfortable.
Yeah.
Finally, we get done and I go, guys, they left. I go, guys, I have to go. Can you pack up my drum set? I'm gonna leave. Fine, no big deal. I leave, this, that, and the other. I wake up the next morning. I go on MySpace. This is how long ago this was.
Wow.
And I look, and on our MySpace page, there's pictures. The drummer from Slightly Stoopid decided that he was going to come over and play with us while in my absence.
Oh, no.
But at the time, I didn't have a drum throne.
Oh, dude.
I had
That's awesome.
I had a cooler and I had a pillow. So I actually crapped the pillow as well. So when I saw the picture, the drummer from Slightly Stoopid was sitting on my poopy pillow.
Oh, no, he was not. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's amazing.
And I have not seen him since. I'm waiting for the opportune time to be able to tell him this story.
Weren't they just in Boca last Saturday?
Was it this last Saturday? I've been waiting for them to
think
come
they're at
down to
Sunset
try and be
Cove
able
Amphitheater,
to
yeah.
find a way to be able to go meet them.
I think it was them. Them and Revolution and a lot of those bands.
They always
kinda
come down together, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I wound up. The drummer from Slightly Stoopid played in my poopy pillow.
Wow. Well, this is Slightly Stupid right here.
That is them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That is incredible.
Dang.
Yeah, it was a
Wow.
rough. Sorry. Needless to say, we didn't get signed. I'm still here.
It's a shame.
Coming up this weekend, if you want to see Shaquille O'Neal, DJ Shaq, where is he going to be playing? Where can you check him out? We got that info for you coming up next.
Think Gloria did a bad job? Wait till you hear this crap. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Well, Kevin Durant is opted out.
He's gone. Yeah. He's going to Cleveland.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a trend you're going to see probably with LeBron as well. You're going to see and everybody's going to freak out, but, you know, it's just he's already said he wants to stay with Golden State, so you can expect that to keep going on. Magic Johnson has come out and said that, hey, either he's going to come through and he's going to have a big offseason here or he's going to quit the Lakers. So he sounds like he's a dude that's determined. This is a guy that usually wins when he puts his mind to something. I mean, he's done pretty well for himself, whether it be on the basketball court or in the business world. He doesn't seem to strike out very often. So does this make you feel better about the Lakers winding up as maybe the team to beat in the West next season?
It's kind of scary when I read this quote. If I was a Laker fan, which I'm not, but if I'm a Laker fan and I read that quote where he says, you know what? It doesn't necessarily come down to all of this year. We have next year to rebuild too. I'm like, wait a minute, why are you trying to hedge your bets? Like, do you know something that Laker fans don't?
He absolutely does.
So is he expecting now to not get anyone this offseason?
Why wouldn't you expect something like that from Magic Johnson, who in the first week that he was a part of the organization, he got 4 tampering penalties. He lost $100,000 in penalties from tampering.
True. So you're saying he
knows.
He's saying too much. Like, he's actually tipping his hand when he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And saying that we're not getting LeBron, Paul George, or anybody at this point.
We got 2 years, whatever.
That's what he's saying. He's like, oh, we have 2 years. What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So you think with what Magic Johnson's saying, Laker fans should actually feel worse, not better?
Oh, I'd be terrified if I was a Laker fan.
Yeah.
Because now he's hedging his bet, saying, you know what, if it doesn't happen this year, I'm giving myself one more year next year, because we still got next year as a free agency period.
Well, not only that, too. You have next year and the year after that, the cap pumps.
Well, from what he's saying, though, he's only giving himself 2 years. He's saying if he can't get the job done in 2 years, then he's just going to resign.
Step away, yeah.
Or structure a backloaded contract for somebody like that, and when the cap bumps, just like they do in baseball,
it makes sense.
and you can be able to say, hey, everybody come to me. You'll have a decent year this year, and then we'll blow it out next year when the cap bumps.
You think this will affect the odds of LeBron staying in Cleveland? What Vegas has been pumping out that we've been talking about?
That would be pretty interesting. Like, how much do they want to look into this quote from Magic Johnson? Would it actually move the odds now in Vegas away from the Lakers? Because the Lakers are the favorite, right? When we looked at it yesterday?
Lakers were the favorites, and I think the Cavs were third. It was the Lakers and the 76ers, and then the Cavs were third to land LeBron. And then the story, that was out a little bit yesterday is that, LeBron's talking to a lot of his NBA friends, whether that's about, hey, I'm going to come to you or you're going to come to me. It almost sounds like maybe more he's recruiting to the Cavs.
I don't understand what it is. And you actually said it yesterday, Kevin, and it's something I've been feeling in my bones, in my gut now for the past few weeks, and I've been afraid to say it. I just have this strange feeling that LeBron is going to stay in Cleveland, and it doesn't make any sense. I don't know why I feel that way, because if he wants to win titles, you're not going to do it in Cleveland.
Well, could you? I mean, they've got a little bit of wiggle room with the cap space. I mean, I think the biggest deterrent right now is the fact that he and Dan Gilbert don't seem to get along. But aside from that, I mean, if they could, work the numbers out, and if somehow he could recruit, and he's apparently doing that right now, if he gets somebody that he likes, I mean, is there a chance a Kawhi Leonard could wind up there? I mean, he's not going to probably get traded to the West, so sending him to Cleveland might be a good alternative if San Antonio can't re-sign him.
Yeah, I think the one thing, it's all going to rely around LeBron, because if LeBron doesn't sign a decent contract to come back, let's say he opts out and he goes in for like a 2-year contract, then you could see somebody like Kawhi Leonard or Kawhi Leonard would be traded, so regardless, but you might see a free agent come there. But if he's just opting in to his last year or opting out, then there's no superstar that's going to come there. They want to make sure that LeBron's going to continue to be there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's why.
I mean, that's the only thing that can happen, though, for Cleveland is they now have this card to play with Kawhi Leonard. Because if you believe all the reports, the Spurs do not want to trade him to the Lakers. They don't. They
want to trade him in the West,
right? Why would you trade him to your rival?
I still think it's a smart move to do it,
or to the West in general.
I still think it's a smart move to trade him to the Lakers, because they can be able, with that one trade alone, you can rebuild an entire franchise.
But how does that?
You're talking about picks, players, everything.
But then you have to go against him for the next.
And how long is he going to take before you get that together? And how much longer does Popovich have where he's going to be coaching?
Well, how long do you? Okay, so
you may have a completely different coach, bench, starters.
That's what I'm saying.
But do you want to do that? I mean, a lot of franchises do. They hit the reboot switch, and they don't come back very successful.
It would take a while.
Okay, but wait a second. But didn't Cleveland just do this?
San Antonio probably wants to get what they can right now because, like I said, how much longer do you have with Popovich? Some people are saying that, hey, he may have another year or two tops.
Didn't Cleveland just do this and fall into the same situation? They just traded Kyrie Irving to the Boston Celtics, and if Kyrie Irving was healthy, I don't know if Cleveland would have even made it out of the Eastern Conference. So, I mean, like, that just happened. But that one trade got them enough picks to be able to give them a team that they were able to go against the Boston Celtics. Because the team that they had before they traded for all the extra parts, wasn't a team that could be able to contend.
Yeah.
And they traded within their conference. And it's a big player. You're not talking about some Joe Schmo. It wasn't J.R. Smith. It was Kyrie friggin' Irving.
Well, it didn't really work that well, though, did it? I
mean, because he got hurt, though.
No, but I'm saying for the Cavs. It's not like
no.
Because they got Isaiah Thomas, and then they just trade him to the Lakers anyway.
Well, Isaiah Thomas, that's when they found out that Brad Stevens was who Brad Stevens was. Because Isaiah Thomas going from that system and being really good to going to Cleveland, and Tyronn Lue coaching him and not being very good, and then having to ship him off to the Lakers, that was a realization there. But they thought they were getting just as good as Kyrie Irving with Isaiah, and they screwed up.
Well, a couple guys have been in Cleveland, Kyrie and Shaq, both of them. Going to be in this Uncle Drew movie. It's going to be coming out. Is it this weekend it's going to be hitting theaters? I see the previews are coming out, and I assume that the movie's going to be following pretty soon. It
is. Yeah, it's this weekend.
Basically.
That sounded so sad.
NBA-wise, it's got, hey, Kyrie, Shaq, Chris Webber, Reggie Miller. You've got Lisa Leslie also going to be in it from WNBA fame.
That's cool.
Following a group of players past the prime as they prove they can still win.
It's just.
How did this become a movie, by the way?
I was really stunned, yeah. When I saw it, I thought it was just like a long, extended thing that ESPN was doing, a big promo thing. Well, I'm like, well, there's no way that's going to be in theaters.
Yeah, remember when Danny McBride and Chris Hemsworth did the thing where it was supposed to be like the child of Crocodile Dundee, but it wound up only being a commercial for traveling to Australia?
Right.
That's what I thought this was going to be, like an extended Pepsi commercial or something like that.
Isn't this kind of like off? Didn't LeBron, wouldn't he the one that kind of started this where he would dress up like the old person and do that?
He was, when he was his first stint in Cleveland, he was the old LeBron and athlete LeBron and kid LeBron. Yeah, he had like his own little.
I thought he kind of started this whole thing off.
I don't remember that.
That's right. It was when he was young. It was like within his first few years in Cleveland.
So you got no LeBron in this?
No LeBron. I don't think
he needs a movie
too. Is Chris Bosh going to be in this? Because remember when Chris Bosh used to do the car salesman videos when he was with the Raptors?
It was funny.
Chris Bosh was hands down one of the funny. I don't know why he's not acting right now because he can't play basketball. He's hilarious.
He's very funny.
And if you look up the videos of him, he used to do like a fake car salesman. salesman when he was in Toronto.
Okay.
And it was incredibly funny.
Yeah.
He used
But
to
they
do it
didn't.
as a ploy to get voted into the All-Star game.
That's what it was,
Yes. It's very funny. You should look it up one time.
Yeah, you got Shaq in this. To me, it feels like you needed Charles Barkley, too, but
That would have been good.
yeah, it would have been good.
Would that work though? Because Charles was in Space Jam, so now you put him in another basketball movie. You know?
Eh.
Yeah. Well, did you hear what's going on with Space Jam too?
Wait, whoa!
So now they're saying that once the decision of opting in or opting out comes out for LeBron is when they're supposed to be releasing the trailer for Space Jam.
What do you mean releasing the
That's
trailer?
that's what I heard. That's the
Yeah, I
that's
did
the
hear
word
that's,
on the
that's
street.
the weird thing, that the announcement somehow happens in the trailer for Space Jam 2.
This is
What?
the word on the street, man. I
What
don't
is
know.
happening?
That might work
don't
for an
know.
LA announcement, right?
It certainly would.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense that was what it would
Wait,
be.
so you're saying that LeBron's choice is in the trailer? Is Space Jam 2 a thing? Did they make that?
Apparently they've.
I couldn't tell. Yeah, I didn't know. I'm like going because I can't believe Uncle Drew. So I mean, I'm
Yeah, I
like,
was just saying, like
I'm
Space
like,
Jam seems like a pretty.
What? I'm like, I guess at this point anything's possible. Lisa Leslie is going to be doing a premiere. She's in the movie Boys and Girls Club of Palm Beach County. She lives in Delray. They're doing this thing Saturday night, Delray.
D-Ray.
At, Frank Theater's Cinnable and Grill.
That's right next to my house.
And Shaq, who's also in the movie, is going to be in South Florida this weekend. I wonder if Shaq would show up on Saturday. I think he's a little busy, though. He's kind of booked right now. He's doing this DJ Shaq thing, 15 dates in the summer of Shaq, he calls it.
Of course it is.
He's going to be at Live in Miami on Friday with Gucci Mane,
course.
at Diplo's Mad Decent Pool Party at the Delano on Saturday.
Mercy.
I don't even know what any of that is.
Yeah.
We're not.
Sobe, baby.
Yeah.
Back in March, you might remember Shaq did the whole Miami Music Week, and that's when Gronk was on his shoulders.
How could we forget?
Damn.
Yeah.
That's how you know how strong Shaq is.
Oh, yeah.
When he puts that polar bear on his shoulders.
Listen to what he said about it.
This party that was in Miami that I read, it started at 2 a.m. and went to 8 a.m.
Started at 2. It was called Shaq's Funhouse.
Shaq's Funhouse.
And I got all the greatest DJs. You would have had fun just looking at Crazy Grunk.
I know, I heard Gronk was there. Dude, he's
They
the
say
best.
He's the craziest
He's
white
fun.
guy I ever seen in my life.
Is that right? Rob Gronkowski.
You know, it's crazy. I'm watching him. He was drinking water. I'm like, how do you act like that just by drinking water?
Oh, man.
2 to 8,
Good
6
point.
hours straight.
Yeah. He ended up getting on your shoulders.
And he's the heaviest white guy I ever met. that dude is all muscle.
He's all jacked.
That's
There
good
you
stuff.
go. All right, check it out this weekend.
seen in my life.
Coming up here in a couple minutes, I was reading this story, Wells Dusenberry from Sun Sentinel, talking about how the FHSAA might be basically revamping the entire playoff structure for all divisions.
I like this.
Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? We'll discuss with Wells coming up next.
Be part of the show on Twitter at 640 The Hurricane, hashtag Kevin's Other Show.
Was checking out some tweets last night from Wells Dusenberry, the Sun Sentinel, just trying to wrap my head around what they're talking about here with the FHSAA and possibly kind of like revamping everything when it comes to playoffs in Florida high school sports.
Playoffs.
You couldn't resist, could you?
Now, they currently have over 700 member schools, and they've pretty much used enrollment numbers to classify teams since the 1930s, going all the way back. But you got a lot of lopsided playoff scores that have had this. My daughter went to high school at a small school in Boca called Grandview Prep. Mm-hmm. And they would go out and pick out some of the best players from all over South Florida, and they would play, and I think they're like Division II or something like that, like the second smallest grouping of schools, and they would go out and play good teams like Wellington, and they were beating them. And they went 30-0, I think it was my daughter's junior or senior year. They were crushing everybody, and I think they won their state championship game by like 50 points. I mean, it was just insane.
Just because of the way they recruited.
Yeah, they were arguably one of the best teams in South Florida. I mean, regardless. And here they are, a small school.
Right.
And they were that way for a while in softball when they had the coaches and really put something on it. They don't even have a softball team this year because the enrollment's so low. I think my daughter had like 17 people in her class, in graduating class. So, and here they are doing so big. So I was looking at what Wells was talking about here. Now, they are talking about kind of like reshuffling the entire deck. Wells, welcome to the show. How you doing, bud?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Good. Now, tell me a little bit about what this proposal is. It doesn't sound like it's a done deal, but people who are looking at a situation like what my daughter's school, Grandview Prep, had done, this situation would fix it. What is FHSAA proposing to do to try to fix this stuff in a lot of sports?
Yeah, so the sports right now that would be changed by this would be basketball, soccer, softball, baseball, and girls volleyball. And to give you a quick overview, right now for those classes, you have 9 classifications. And that's a lot for what you mentioned, the amount of schools you have. And what that's led to is kind of a watered-down bracket where you have a lot of where you have a lot of blowouts in the state tournaments. Attendance has been down. So the solution they've been coming up with is, one, they're going to try and narrow it down to 6 classifications. That in part would kind of group it, be a little smaller together. But what they want to do is that they're going to put together the top 64 teams in each classification, and that would put, let's use basketball for an example. They're going to take the top 64 teams based on a series of power rankings from the previous 2 years combined.
Okay.
The top 64 teams will go into Division 1. Then the next 64 teams will go into Division 2, and then 3 through 6 will then go in descending order by the power rankings, where you have roughly 115 to 130 schools in each classification, and you would then have each school compete for a state championship. So you would have 6 state titles, but in that, you would have a descending order in terms of, the level of play based on the power rankings.
Right.
So this is one that's
we're talking about like my daughter's school, like a Grandview Prep in the years that they were winning the way they were winning, and they had been pretty successful the previous 2 years. They likely would have been in the seeding of the top 64 teams, so they could have arguably said, we are the best in the state of Florida, even though we're a very small school.
Exactly. So you could have had them go, like, for example, if they were, this year, you would have them playing, arguably, Coral Springs, Chris Charter, who has been a 4-time state champion in 5A. You could have them facing the 9A state champion in big public schools. So you could have a Final Four where you could have arguably Grandview Prep, which is an incredibly small enrollment, versus a big public school that has, 3,000 students roughly. So it'd be a very radical kind of change in that.
Now, is a lot of this change because of the new recruiting rules that are going on where basically students can go anywhere? And it seems like it's kind of like open season from what I understand, with players switching schools and going to different places. Is this the FHSA's response to try to combat that and make sure that they stay competitive in the postseason?
I think what's happened is that's definitely, has led to, definitely kind of some competitive imbalance, so to speak here, where the recruiting rules, just so people know, is that it has open enrollment now in the state of Florida, and that was from the state legislature. So that means that you can attend any public school in the state if you want, regardless of boundary, as long as they are under capacity and you can provide your own transportation. Now, obviously, there are always ways to get around that, and it seems to happen for, these major sports.
Yeah.
I think a big thing, too, is they've noticed is that the attendance has gone down for these state tournament events, and they're losing money at these events because you're getting less and less people coming to these. And I think a big factor is that you just don't have many competitive games. If you look at some of the basketball games, there were 30 to 40 point blowouts in state championship games. So at that point, you're going to get your parents, you're going to get, your friends on there, but you're not getting that other fan who's going to say, it's not really worth it for me to go to this.
Yeah. And football, they're not touching that because it seems like football right now, still the bigger attended schools are at the top of the power rankings, and you're not going to see for instance, like a Glades Day that is going to be up there and really be able to compete with like a Dwyer High School.
No, those ones really aren't going to be on there. And football is obviously king in the state of Florida right now. And so that's not something they're going to easily change. And, there's going to be a lot of, pushback in terms of that. I think there are some things that could be tweaked in terms of that, but that might be later on down the line. That's just me speculating. But
okay.
I think that right now they're not going to touch football, though, although you do see a lot of blowouts in a lot of those classifications as well. I think that's something that will have to be addressed down the line.
Fascinating concept. Wells Dusenberry, you can find him with the Sun Sentinel. Also, I follow him on Twitter. Some good stuff. Wells, thanks for coming on, bud.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Okay, there you go.
See, I find it very interesting that there's no football involved in this, because that, to me, is the most glaring thing about it, and has been for a while.
You're not seeing the blowouts, I don't think, yet. I mean, he did say there are some instances, but it still seems like we're going to see a lot more of it coming up next week. We're going to do a media day for high school football and talk a little bit about this. I just know from one event I went to, I won't name the high schools, but it was supposed to be
Name them.
Student Aces. That is a group that tries to inspire leadership amongst high school players. We're supposed to have 3 high schools that we were going to be speaking to as a group in one school's locker room. The other 2 schools right at the last minute backed out, and basically the reason was the coaches are like, I don't want the coaches talking to my players and trying to pick them off by bringing them to this school and saying, oh, don't you like our weight room? Don't you like this? Wouldn't you like to come to this school?
Wow.
It seems like it's that competitive, and part of the coaches are saying, this is my livelihood. I feed my family off of this. This isn't a game to me. I can't let my players around other coaches because it is open season when it comes to recruiting. And so it seems like it takes the bigger schools with the resources and the stadiums to still get the better players.
And now, what about recruiting when it comes to like private schools and public schools? I mean, isn't that different? I thought there was rules against schools recruiting.
There used to be. Now I think it's pretty much open. And the private schools before was a lot easier. It was pretty much they could do it and try to give out these so-called scholarships.
Right.
But my son went to a school that did that, and you would go to a play, and you would see this hulking 350-pound athletic guy in a play that had no acting ability whatsoever. You're going, who is that guy? Like going, oh, that's the star linebacker on the football team.
Exactly.
That's a big-ass tree.
Right. So that was how
like a
private
willow.
schools was getting around it before. So it'd be interesting to see if it's going to affect the playoff system and exactly how much. Coming up here in just a couple of minutes, did the Simpsons predict the World Cup for 2018?
They're doing it again, man.
They might be. We'll tell you why next.
Get Kevin's other show whenever the hell you want on YouTube and at 640thehurricane.com.
Argentina ride!
Sounds like a slowed down Cardi B.
Wow. Would you believe that's from ping pong?
They get so excited about their ping pong in Argentina.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
How great would that be if that was a ping pong call? I love it.
Only in soccer, baby. Argentina right there. Big shocker if you've been following anything with the World Cup. And I have not yet jumped into it. I've been very neglectful over the last week, but I was kind of keeping an eye on what was going on with Germany, the last World Cup winner. They out.
Yeah.
Push.
Yeah, and I didn't
No
realize this.
schnitzels for you.
I was talking to somebody that's really into the World Cup. In fact, he's a local soccer ref, and he was keeping an eye on this Germany thing and dropped a little stat bomb on me about it. Said that aside from, I think it was Brazil, since 1998 in the World Cup, the winner from the previous World Cup has always been eliminated in the first round.
It's amazing.
And what do they call it? The grouping or whatever?
Group stage, yeah.
Group stage, yeah. Has been knocked out just even in the group stage.
I mean, you talk about parity.
Yeah.
You got parity in World Cup soccer. You know, France won in 98. They're out in 02. You had Italy win in 06. They're out in 10. You had Spain win in 10. They're out in 14. Now Germany, here we are. They win in 14. They're out in 18.
Can you believe it?
Can
amazing.
you believe it? Go Arriba!
Argentina.
Well, who's going to be in the World Cup? If you believe in The Simpsons, the TV show's ability to predict the future, you've seen a lot of interesting things happen in this. And
Holy moly.
it's such a lengthy list that you're going, okay, and the things that they've predicted, too. They predicted that Donald Trump was going to be president of the United States back in 2000.
I mean, but not only did they predict it, like the escalator scene.
Yes.
It's exactly the same thing.
That's the eerie thing about it. I mean, you can make a parody show like Back to the Future, right? Back to the Future 2. They had the Cubs winning the World Series in 2015. They ended up winning in 2016 in real life. You can have a parody thing like that and be a coincidence. But they had the exact scene.
Like the escalator, a guy in the same exact place with a sign.
Yeah.
Everything
Insane.
was the same. It's creepy.
In '93, The Simpsons predicted that Roy Horn of Siegfried and Roy is going to be mauled by a tiger in Las
That's
Vegas.
right, yes.
I mean, that's so random.
Yeah, huh?
98, Homer predicted the existence of the God particle before it was discovered in 2012.
What are the chances of that?
They predicted the rise of smartwatches all the way back in 1995.
Remember that.
Ebola outbreak they did. Lady Gaga's Super Bowl halftime show. Disney taking over Fox.
They
the
did.
NSA spying scandal. I mean, it goes on and on and on. It's a list of about 12 things. They're going, okay, if you had one or two, they got lucky. No, they've got about 15 to 20 on that list.
Time travelers.
Matt Groening,
crazy.
he's a time traveler. I mean, there's no way around it.
He is Marty McFly.
He is Marty McFly. For them to get that exactly right with Trump coming down the escalator, the same crowd around him in real life from 2016 as it was in that episode in 2000, how does that happen? It's mind-blowing.
Great Scott!
When season 9, episode 5 of The Simpsons, it was an episode called The Cartridge Family.
Of course.
And they predict a Portugal-Mexico World Cup Finals matchup. Now, if Mexico does advance out of the group, they'll end up on the other side of the bracket from Portugal, possibly lining this up. And I think the whole thing was them playing for what was the greatest country on planet Earth, and something like that was the thing with the Cartridge Family. But people are now keeping an eye on whether or not we're going to have a Portugal-Mexico World Cup final. If we do, The Simpsons did it again.
How funny would that be?
It's like kind of ridiculous.
Can we find this out? Because I'm not sure now, because I think Mexico has actually won. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They lost to Sweden today, but they still advanced as a runner-up in the group stage.
I think so.
So they made it into the knockout stage. I'm just not sure where they have fallen now, if they are actually on the other side of the bracket where they could meet Portugal in the final.
I was trying to understand the most recent update on who's still alive and who's out, and from what I could understand, and it might have been written in Spanish as much as I was understanding this, I think Mexico is vive.
Yes,
Vive!
They're alive.
That's the one thing about soccer. It's like when America made it in the last time, made it into the actual cup, it was like they tied, but still won.
It's so exciting.
Yeah.
It's the most exciting.
So stupid.
I kind of got the breakdown from a soccer ref guy that was telling me all about it, and it is. It's like goals equal certain points. You get so many points for a tie, so many for a win. You lose it, it's a minus a point. So,
why
I mean,
don't you just
that's all it is.
win?
This group stage, it's not win or lose. It's accumulating points, and it's the top two of the group stage that advances. The bottom two, gone. So you're more worried about scoring points. That's why if you have a glorious tie, 3-3, whatever, you're happy and excited even though it's a tie. We're like going, gosh, isn't this an elimination? It's not elimination like that yet.
When does it become shootout?
Now it becomes shootout. The
Thank
group
God.
stage
Okay,
is
now I
almost
can
over.
watch because this tying crap.
That's why
This weekend.
You know what?
Gotta go.
He killed it for me because he told me that. I'm like, oh, I don't care.
Exactly.
So that's
I don't care if you tie.
Yeah. The more I understood, the less I wanted to watch. So I'm like going, I'm going to wait till it like matters more.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
Isn't that what we do?
I
in
just want to be in a
America?
bar and not just be like, oh, soccer.
Yeah.
Now you'll enjoy it more this weekend because now the group stage is
Eliminations.
ending. Right. Now you're in the knockout stage coming up this weekend, and it's do or
No
die.
ties.
No ties. You'll
Because
have
ties are un-American.
You'll have sudden death
Yeah.
penalty kicks and,
Okay.
the whole nine.
I'll dial back in.
Yeah.
I'm back in, baby.
There you go.
Back in.
I'm glad you're back.
We got kind of the background story. Did you hear with the dude that was hanging off that chick's car on I-95?
What happened? You got
I
more
hear
story?
There's alternate video angles now.
Yeah, there is.
Really?
It's amazing. It's an unbelievable story. Yesterday we were telling you, and I'm sure you've probably seen the viral video now of this guy who's on the hood of a car in the express lane on I-95. We find out it's just south of Ives Dairy Road.
Oh
And
man.
in the Aventura area.
Ouch.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a little bit south of Hallandale, and I mean, it's just a horrifying thing that you're seeing. And this guy is driving next to him, showing his speedometer, which is going 70, and then going right to the car next to him where the guy's hanging off of it. So they're doing 70 miles an hour. He looks oddly calm.
Really
then you
strange.
see a woman, looks like a woman is driving the car, and now we figured out that her name is Patricia Isidore.
Okay.
And we know what exactly was going on. That was her ex-boyfriend.
Of course it was.
who she said, quote, just won't leave me alone.
Well, apparently he's hanging on to the car.
She says the whole thing
Dedicated.
started when she was leaving her Lauderhill home to pick up her daughter, and her ex launched himself on top of her car. Now, even though he's the ex, apparently he still lives with her.
Okay.
And she says, look, I had to get my child, so I wasn't going to deal with any foolishness, and apparently not. So he's trying to have a conversation. She's like, I'm getting my daughter. He's like, oh, no, you don't. So he hops on the car. She's like, watch me. And there she goes, out onto 95. I mean, 70 miles an hour. She's just going. And the crazy thing about it, the alternate video angle you're talking about, you had somebody in the car next to him that's filming. She got out her phone because it was so insane, and he's calmly trying to talk to her through the windshield as she's driving 70 miles an hour in the express lane on I-95, and she is filming him trying to talk to her.
No way.
It's insane. It is absolutely insane. And then finally, she just exits off of I-95 in West Park, and there you go. Apparently, at some point, he gets off of the car, and she's being charged now with culpable negligence. And she's saying, look, I don't think I should be charged at all. He was threatening me, so I was scared. So, of course, I wasn't going to stop the car and let him get in. That's crazy.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
When you're telling this story, I'm like, this sounds like she could actually be charged with something here.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess, but that's going to be the interesting court case about it is, okay, let's say that you're in that kind of situation and you feel threatened and somebody's like going, I mean, you can use your car as a weapon. If somebody's like coming up to you and they're trying to like cause you bodily harm, you have the right to, boom, take them out.
Yeah.
And so if she legitimately can establish in court that she was scared of him and she's like, get out of my way because I'm coming through. And he's like, no, you don't. And he holds on. She's innocent, right?
She can claim self-defense.
I would think so.
Now, the driving in the express lane at 70 miles an hour, you might say, why did you feel the need to get on the highway?
Right. Yeah, that's
and
true.
then take the express lane. I mean,
Yes.
it's not even like...
Wow, she wanted to avoid traffic.
Listen, 95 and 95.
Isn't that an extra fee, too? And you have to charge
Yeah,
for a body
yeah.
on your hood? Is that...
I don't know.
Is that added? And
well,
what
if
if
she
he's
was in the
blocking her-
HOV lane, then it was fine.
What if he's blocking her sun pass? Because I've got mine on my
point.
windshield. I'd be going,
Yeah.
hey, can you move? I'm about ready to go into the sensor.
He puts his hand over it. Nah, bitch, you ain't paying for nothing.
Oh, it's the most insane thing ever. I'm like, gosh, it's fantastic.
So the guy that was filming from the other car is actually like a physics student in college or something like that.
Oddly enough, yeah.
And he's going to now do an entire experiment because he can't figure out how the guy's sandals stayed
How
on.
did the sandals stay on?
And that's the one thing. So he's now
Yes.
going to
Yeah.
embark on this entire experiment based onto this video of how the sandals stayed on.
Thank you. Good. I'm glad someone's going to look into this because it looks fake. It looks like the sandals are CGI'd onto his feet.
I
How
know.
did they stay on?
It's
What do
on-
you?
CGI.
I'm saying it looks
This
impossible.
isn't a Robert Zemeckis film.
It looks physically impossible.
You got a lot of collusion if this is
Yes.
fake. You've got the guy in the other car. You got her filming. I mean,
Guy on the hood going 70
Yeah.
miles an hour.
It's one big stunt.
Yeah,
Oh,
brought
yeah.
to you by Michael Bay.
It's unbelievable stuff, though, man. Hey, check us out. You can watch us on YouTube. You got the podcast. That's easy to download. You can get it on demand anytime you want to check it out. And also, make sure you follow us on Twitter. We put the podcast right there, so it's real easy for you to find. Just look for it at Kevin's Other Show.
You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Wellington Anti-Aging. Low T? Go to WellingtonAntiAging.com. And by Bremen Motor Cars in West Palm Beach. A world-class experience. Shop BremenPorsche.com now. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.